Hello, and welcome to the archives. We're back. I'm finally taking a look at the data pack, the next one in the Flashpoint cycle, Intervention, and we're going to be delving into that. I'm sorry it took so long. As I said in my last episode, I was going to do it last week, but Terminal Directive came out, and I was super hyped to talk about that. So, without further ado, we're going to dive right in to the super fun cards in Intervention and have a look at them. Let's move on to the first card and see what we have. Here we have En Passant, which is French, I believe. It is an event sabotage, 0 credits to play. You can only play it if you made a successful run that turn. Trash an unres piece of ice you passed during the last run you made this turn. When your opponent is weak, strike. If you do not, he will become strong. The playbook. And it is 2 influence on this event. So this could be splashed in quite a few decks. Now, I saw this and I immediately wanted to throw it in a deck with Run Amok and EMP Bomb, which I'm probably going to do. Because Run Amok, you make a run and trash a piece of ice, a rezzed piece of ice, that, or a piece of ice that was rezzed during that turn. So, if they res a piece of ice and you trash it, but they don't res another one, and the reason why they don't is because you popped an EMP bomb, which only makes them res 1 piece of ice. So you can take out 2 pieces of ice in 2 clicks, provided you made a successful run, the first one, using Run Amok, EMP Bomb, and En Passant. You just trash 2 pieces of ice from the corp. Oh, I just love the little combination that came up with. So yeah, I'm really interested in checking this out. Alright, on to the next card. And here we have Frantic Coding. This is one of Omar's cards, as you can see, because Omar is on it. We've got 3 credits to play an event, 3 influence, so it's a little heftier of an influence cost. Look at the top 10 cards of your stack. If any of those cards are programs, you may install one of them, lowering the install cost by 5. Trash the rest of those cards. Oh, that's evil. But I can see where this could come into play. Because if you have Paperclip and Black Orchestra and what is sure to be in the next 2 data packs coming up, a 3rd icebreaker that you can install from your heap, that would be super handy. Because you look at the top 10 cards, and if you've got all 3 of those in there and another program, you install the other program, you throw out your Paperclip and your Black Orchestra and your other one, and then you just run, and whenever you hit something, you can install it from your heap. So I can see how this really works using those programs. With the other programs, I'm not so sure about, but I don't know, maybe. We have the flavor text of Omar goes through 4-5 keyboards per week. No 2 from the same decade. And you see Omar here with his keyboards all around him, looking quite in his element. So yeah. Interesting card. I hate the idea of trashing anything. Which is why I don't play a lot of runners or decks that rely on having things being trashed. I'm weird like that. Okay, on to the next card. Ooh, we're into a criminal card here. The Gauntlet, a hardware console for Khan, I believe, because she's on the art here. 5 credits to install, +2 memory unit. Whenever you access cards from HQ during a run, access 1 additional card for each piece of ice protecting HQ that you broke all subroutines on during this run. Ooh, and only 1 influence. this could be, this could be splashed in quite a lot of decks, but criminals especially. Oh, that's, mm, 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 mm. I may have to, um, I may have to throw this into my Laramie Fisk deck that I had with some tweaks, and because it's got the 2 memory units up there, but it lets me run HQ, and as long as I'm breaking subroutines on that, it lets me access additional cards. Ooh, ooh, I like it. I like it a lot. Yes. Okay. So yeah, this might be fun. All right, on to the next card. Let's see what we have kicking around here. Oh, we have Saker, the third bear or the third breaker for Khan. Also a bird of prey, as you can see. 4 credits to install, 1 memory unit cost, 1 strength, 2 influence. It's a Fractor icebreaker, 1 credit to break a barrier subroutine, 2 credits for +2 strength, 2 credits for return Saker to your grip, derez a barrier. Uses ability only after using Saker to break all the subroutines on that barrier during a single encounter. Spiraling ever higher, every feature of cyberspace sprawled before it. Now, I like these icebreakers because not only are they decent icebreakers, they do pretty good for strength, breaking barriers, but you can derez pieces of ice, heavy pieces of ice, costing the court money, which is good. I like it. But then if you do that and they start relying on cheaper ice that don't have as high a strength, it lets you break through them easier. So it's win-win in that way. Yeah. I'm definitely going to be making a deck using these wonderful birds at some point. All right, on to the next. Here we have Blockade Runner. Pardon me. 1 credit, resource connection. 1 influence, so it's pretty slim. The resource connection gives you 2 clicks, draw 3 cards. Shuffle 1 card from your grip into your stack. Interesting. Flavor text of, I used to run stims, sim senses, the usual. I was scum. Now I run water. I'm a fraggin' hero. And you've got the guy there with like water and all the hands all reaching up to him. Save us, sort of deal. Yeah. Not bad. I like this. I'm not sure how the shuffle a card from your grip into your stack works out, except for maybe allowing you to draw 3 cards. Like if you have 3 cards, for example, in your hand, you double click, draw 3 cards, and then you have a card that you can't use right yet, or you're over 1, shuffle 1 back in, and then you're at your hand limit. I'm wondering if there might not be some mechanic that lets you utilize that, but I don't know. Anyway, it looks to be an interesting little card. And 2 clicks for 3 cards, which you can keep all 3 that you do and shuffle one of your other cards back into your stack. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. I like that. So yeah, not bad. All right, on to the next. And here we have my lovely lady, L. Smoke Skovac, Cynosaur of the Net. Shaper identity. I have been waiting for her ever since I found out she was coming and she was a Shaper. Oh, my. We've got 0 link strength. She is a Gmod stealth with a 1 recurring credit. Use this credit to pay for using icebreakers. Flavor text of nothing up my sleeve. 40 minimum card deck and 15 influence. So she is the one that is kind of replacing Chaos Theory, which is fine. Now, I love the whole idea behind this, the 1 recurring credit to pay for using icebreakers, especially for the fact that her recurring credit because her identity is a Gmod stealth, this credit is considered a stealth credit, much like that off of Cloak and Ghost Runner, which will become important in a minute. So yeah, I am a huge fan of everything about her, and given some of the her icebreakers, one of which I believe I covered on a previous, I believe it was back in Escalation, the Houdini one, and I think there's one coming up here. It gives me a good reason to believe that Smoke here is a bit of a magician. There's a strong magician theme going on in this. So, on to the next. And this is one of the reasons why. Because you have Top Hat, a Shaper hardware, 0 credits to install. Whenever you make a successful run on R&D, instead of accessing cards, you may choose one of the top 5 cards of R&D and access it. You cannot access any other cards in R&D during this run. I usually find something interesting in there, just not what I was looking for. Now, I have already seen 2 ways that this can be used. I've actually been building a Smoke deck sort of around this, but not really. Oh, and 1 influence on this one as well. But the 2 ways I can see using this is, 1, you make a successful run on R&D. Instead of accessing the top cards, or accessing cards, you choose one of the top 5. So you have no idea what's in the top 5 cards. So you can make 4 successful runs on R&D and go, I want to look at the top card for the first run. The second run, I want to look at the second card down. Or the first card, the second card. The third run, I want to look at the third card. The fourth run, I want to look at the fourth card. And you can access the top 4 cards rather than having to just hit the same one over and over, which is pretty good. Or what you can do, which is something I'm intending to do, is to use indexing. Now, indexing, you make a run. It's a run event. You make the run first. You hit R&D. If it's successful, you look at the top 5 cards of R&D and you put them back down in any order. So you hit R&D, you look at those top 5 cards. Let's say you've got 1 agenda in there, all right? You don't access it. You put it back in the order that you want so that you know which one of those cards is an agenda. Then you make another run on R&D and use Top Hat instead, because spending a run event, that supplants this successful run because you're doing a run event. So the second run you make just normally, and Top Hat triggers, and you say, I pick, let's say you seeded the agenda in the 3rd card. You say, I want to look at the 3rd card. So you look at the 3rd card, oh look, it's an agenda. So that you kind of have to know ahead of time to do that. But that's something interesting that I'm planning on trying with this. I kind of like the art too. It looks really, really swanky and neat. But we'll move on to the next one. And here we have Blackstone. Now we've had Houdini as a Shaper program icebreaker. Now we have Blackstone, the icebreaker Fractor. 4 credits to install, 1 memory unit, 3 strength, 2 influence. 1 credit to break a barrier subroutine, 3 credits plus 4 strength for the remainder of this run. Use this ability only by spending at least 1 credit from a stealth card. Flavor text of the personality must be bigger than the prop. Now, the reason why I say there is a why the 1 credit off of Smoke's identity being a stealth credit is important is because of this card and Houdini, because you use it only by spending 1 credit from a stealth card. So because that recurring credit is stealth, you can use it. And stealth also triggers for another card of Smoke's, which all work together really well. So I quite like it. I can't wait for the third Icebreaker program to come out for the Shapers. I'm assuming it's going to be called Copperfield, though I don't know. Because you got Houdini, Blackstone, Copperfield. Those were the big names in Magic. Alright, on to the next. Here we have Government Investigations. In a current event, 0 credits to play, no influence. This card is not trashed until another current is played or an agenda is scored. While secretly spending credits, players cannot spend 2 credits. Now this is a bit of a hit towards the Nisei division and the Psy Ice, because it stops you from spending 2 credits. Take this to Inez Delgado in Net Crimes, no one else. And you've got a lady in a suit, and it looks like a police officer. In APD, it looks like a badge on the arm. She's plugging something into the back of her head that's connected to a tablet pad, what have you. Interesting. I can definitely see how this would hinder corpse, but it can hinder players as well. So players need to be careful when they've got that up. Alright. On to the next. Here we have the Citadel Sanctuary. Resource location, 2 credits to install, 0 influence. If you are tagged when your turn ends, force the corp to trace 1. If unsuccessful, the runner removes 1 tag. Trash this card and trash all cards in your grip to prevent all meat damage. So having this out can definitely save you from Boom, which does 7 meat damage to your face. We have the flavor text of the Starlight Meditation booths are available to refugees for free for the duration of the crisis. So you have the Starlight Citadel, who is they have a bit of a sketchy history in the Android universe, but they're still doing good in the world, which is really interesting. I like it. I like the story being told by this whole thing. Alright, on to the next. We're going to get into the corp cards with some Haas-Bioroid. We see a lovely looking Bioroid lady who seems to not have an arm anymore, but have a spike or a drill or something. I don't know. Wetwork Refit. 1 credit. Operation Condition. 2 influence. Install Wetwork Refit on a rezzed piece of Bioroid ice as a condition counter with the text, host ice gains do 1 brain damage before all its other subroutines. Flavor text, I let the Bioroids do a ride along via remote so they can see what pain really looks like. Agent Valkyrie. Interesting. Very interesting. I like it. I'm definitely working on a Bioroid deck for the new identity for Haas-Bioroid because I like Bioroids. I like the whole concept of it. Speaking of the new identity, on to the next card, because we have here Haas-Bioroid, Architects of Tomorrow. Identity Megacorp, 45 minimum card, 12 influence. The first time the runner passes a rezzed piece of Bioroid ice each turn, you may res a Bioroid, lowering its res cost by 4. Now that's interesting, because it says you may res a Bioroid. It doesn't say a piece of Bioroid ice. So basically, every time the runner is running and passing a res piece of Bioroid ice, you can res more ice, or you can res Bioroids that are in the that are upgrades, or sysops, or anything like that. Definitely fun and interesting. I quite like it. So yeah, this is one, as I said, working on making a deck for. I don't know if I'm going to use it in a tournament. I've got a tournament coming up on December the 3rd at my local gaming store. It's the store championship, so I need to bring my A game. So we shall see. On to the next. Ooh, Fumiko Yamamori. She is Jinteki. 4 credits to res, 4 credits to trash for the runner, 2 influence, asset character. Whenever you and the runner reveal secretly spent credits, do 1 meat damage if you and the runner spent a different number of credits. We have flavor text of, does an alliance with the Yakuza truly seem so strange? They are honorable businessmen and women, just like us. Rin Kimura, Chief of New Angeles Security, or NA Security. I assume that's New Angeles. Now, I had a Nisei Division deck that was all heavy on the Psy Ice and revealing secretly spent credits. And this, throwing this card into it would make it evil. Because it's not the first time you do it each term, it's whenever. It's different. So just having nothing but Psy Ice everywhere and using Fumiko Yamamori to just do meat damage to the runner every time they don't get the same amount of credits. Oh, it fills me with joy just thinking about it. So yeah, I may have to include this in my Nisei Division deck and tweak a few things to make it happy. Alright, on to the next. We have Hasty Relocation. It is an operation, 0 credits, 2 influence. As an additional cost to play this operation, trash the top card of R&D. Draw 3 cards, add 3 cards from HQ to the top of R&D in any order. Flavor text, keep your head down, keep moving, try not to attract attention. The Hasty Relocation. So if you know what that top card is in R&D, it's safe to trash. But even if you don't, it could be alright. I can see why they want you to trash the top card, because it is a Hasty Relocation. It's meant to be a bit of a sacrifice. Yeah. I like it. And if you've got cards in HQ that you want in R&D, so that when they go hunting in R&D, it'll trigger traps, this would let you put them back down. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, on to the next. Ooh, here we have Data Ward. An ice barrier for NBN that looks actually good. Because we got a 6 credit res cost for an 8 strength barrier. That is beautiful for NBN faction. 3 influence, so it's pretty heavily in faction for them. When the runner encounters Data Ward, he or she must pay 3 or take a tag. So if they don't have 3, they take a tag automatically. They can't pay it. And then you've got 4 subroutines and the run if the runner is tagged. Now, you put a Data Raven in front of this, for them to proceed, they have to be tagged, which ends the run 4 different times. Oh, it's beautiful. And the artwork is fantastic. You've got zodiac symbols and stuff popping. It looks like a magic circle, like a ward. So yeah, it's very interesting. I like it. I like it a lot. This is going into my NBN decks. At least one of them. It has to. It has to. Alright, on to the next. Here we have an upgrade. Drone Screen. 1 credit to install, or res, I should say. 4 credits to trash. I like that math. Upgrade. If the runner is tagged, Drone Screen gains whenever the runner initiates a run on this server. Trace 3. If successful, do 1 meat damage. Cannot be prevented. And it has Falstaff 337B. It's computer jargon. Kill authority requested Y/N question mark. So yeah, interesting. 2 influence, not too heavy on that. But that 4 trash for only a 1 res, I love that. Because it's costly for the runner. especially since Wizard's going to be disappearing soon. Yeah, I don't like Wizard. You may have gathered. So yeah, interesting. All right, on to the next. Ooh, Chief Slee. Nom nom nom. Now, Chief Slee is Wayland, and it is an asset character, unique, so you can only have one active at any one time, 2 credit res, 3 credit trash, 3 influence. Whenever an encounter with a piece of ice ends, place 1 power counter on Chief Slee for each unbroken subroutine on the encountered piece of ice. Spend a click, and 5 hosted power counters do 5 meat damage. So this card, just being active, means unless they want meat damage in a turn or two, they're going to need to either not run or break every subroutine on every piece of ice, and that'll be costly. But it's more costly to take 5 meat damage to the face. So yeah, I quite like this card, and she looks evil, just absolutely evil, and tiny too. The other 2 guys are like towering over her, but she's the boss, Chief Slee. I quite like it. All right, on to the next. Here we have Bulwark, a Wayland Ice. 10 credits to res, 8 strength. Ice barrier illicit. When you res Bulwark, take 1 bad publicity. When the runner encounters Bulwark, gain 2 credits if there is an installed AI. Subroutines of the runner trashes a program, the corp gains 2 credits, and the run, the corp gains 2 credits and the run. Nice. And you got what looks like an explosion, perhaps? I'm not sure. Or maybe it's not meant to be an explosion, maybe it's meant to be some kind of an amoeba. I don't know, it's hard to tell. Hard to tell. But it looks nice. I like this card. On to the next. Here we have, I believe, the same lady in white that was in the I know the name of it. The Caligoda and the Indian cycle. I forget the name of the cycle now. But that cycle, the last cycle before Flashpoint. That's her, I believe. Best defense. 2 credits to play and Operation Grey Ops. Trash 1 installed card with an install cost equal to or less than the number of tags the runner has. When a shooting war threatens, the prudent course is to shoot first. Now, this can be good, especially if you've got the runner with tags. But even if you don't, it says equal to or less than the number of tags. If they have 0 tags and they have installed cards with an install cost of 0, you can trash that. So that's handy. 0 influence on this. It's a neutral. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, on to the next and last card. Here we have Preemptive Action. It is 0 credits to play. Operation Terminal. 0 influence. After you resolve this operation, end your action phase. Shuffle 3 cards from archives into R&D. Remove preemptive action from the game instead of trashing it. Flavor text of Site Secure, you may proceed. Now this card, I believe, is going to be a replacement for Jackson Howard. Because Jackson Howard is an asset that lets you shuffle 3 cards from archives into R&D. And he's like an instant use. But this requires a click to use because it's an operation. And that's important. Because without Jackson Howard, or with Jackson Howard, the runner or the corp is currently able to just trash or take stuff out of archives in the middle of a run. So if they've got agendas there, they can pull them out and shuffle them into R&D and protect them. Whereas with this card, they can't. So if they've got anything in archives, it's there. So yeah, as a corp, I don't like this card, but as a runner, I do. Mind you, as a corp, I don't really use Jackson Howard a lot, which is probably why I lose so much, but that's neither here nor there. So yeah, that was the wonderful cards for the intervention data pack. There's 2 more left in the data pack, the cycle of Flashpoint, and then there's coming Terminal Directive, which I'm super looking forward to. So yeah, I really like some of these cards, Smoke in particular. I'm very, very interested in Smoke and getting a deck built with her that will work. Hopefully I can do it. So we shall see. So I'm going to leave this episode here. As always, if you like what I'm doing, please give that like button a tap. Give that subscribe button a tap as well, if you haven't already, so you can be kept apprised of when I do new videos. Usually try to get at least 1 video out a week, if not more. And throw a comment in the comment section. What do you think of Intervention? What do you think of Smoke? And the wonderful stealth credits that are running here. What do you think about En Passant and all the wonderful cards that are in this deck? Please throw a comment in the comment section. I would love to get a discussion going with some people about Netrunner. I'd love to talk decks and stuff. So please do all that. And until next time, my friends, remember, keep running.